Usually when we talk about playing an open world video game, there's this expectation of absolute agency.
Right, totally.
You grab the controller, you look out at the digital horizon, and you just think, I can go anywhere. I could do anything.
Oh, it feels incredibly liberating. I mean, you choose your quests, you pick your path. For a moment, you're like the master of that universe.
Yeah, and we crave that feeling. We really like believing that our hands are firmly on the steering wheel of our own lives, just like holding that controller.
Absolutely.
So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are taking that exact feeling, the illusion of the open world game, and applying it to your actual life.
Yeah, it's a big one today.
It really is. We know you love grasping big, complex ideas without feeling bogged down by information overload. So our mission today is to unpack a really fascinating, highly specific philosophical text by Shuifeng.
Right, and this was translated and edited by Kinyu.
Exactly. It's titled From the Kingdom of Necessity to the Kingdom of Freedom. And we're basically looking at this cosmic roadmap that tries to answer the ultimate human questions. Like, do we actually have free will?
The big question.
Right. And if everything is just predetermined, what is the point of even trying? So let's start with the core tension here. The clash between determinism, the idea that everything is inevitable, and our very human desire for freedom.
It's a really heavy premise, but Shuifeng builds this intricate framework, this whole analogy to explore it.
Yeah.
He essentially compares our entire reality to, well, a rigidly programmed closed system.
Like a computer program.
Exactly like that. And by laying out the exact mechanics of this invisible cage, he sets up this deeply thought-provoking theory on how one might actually go about breaking out of it.
Which is what we all want, right, to break out. So, okay, let's present the author's boldest claim first. In this cosmology, the premise is as bold as it gets. Literally everything is inevitable.
Everything.
Every single action, every word, every outcome you experience is just part of a pre-written program.
Right, and the text argues that all life operates within this corresponding inevitable state of being, which he calls the kingdom of necessity.
The kingdom of necessity, got it.
Yeah, and to visualize this, he uses some great analogies. Think of actors in a play. They might emote, they might improvise a tiny gesture here or there.
Sure, add a little flair.
Right, but ultimately, they must perform according to the director's overarching script.
You can't just change the ending.
Exactly. Or consider chess pieces on a board. A knight has a specific way it can move, right?
In an L shape, yeah.
Right, but it has no agency. It simply obeys the hand of the player. It can't decide to just hop off the board.
Yeah, and the analogy from the source material that really stuck with me was about searching for information online.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because we sit at our computers and we feel like we are freely surfing the web. We feel like explorers.
We feel totally in control.
Exactly. But in reality, we are strictly bound by computer network protocols. We can only do what the architecture of the internet allows us to do.
Right.
We can't step outside the code. We are just executing commands within a confined architecture.
And from that perspective, you are just a node processing information. You're executing the code you were handed.
Which implies we can't escape.
Right. It implies that escaping this system on your own is fundamentally impossible.
Okay, let's unpack this. If I am just a chess piece following a script, why can't I just lie in bed all day and earn a PhD? Will watching TV make me a billionaire? Will committing crimes make me president?
Ah, the classic pushback.
I mean, telling people everything is inevitable usually just makes them want to give up and do nothing.
Yeah.
If my destiny is locked in, the whole concept of studying, working, and striving feels entirely pointless.
It's the natural, almost rebellious response to determinism, right? We think that by doing absolutely nothing, we are somehow proving our free will.
Yeah, like I'm rebelling against the script.
But the author's response to that lying in bed argument is brilliantly counterintuitive. The answer is simply, it's not up to you.
Wait, what do you mean it's not up to me? If I choose to stay in bed, I'm staying in bed.
But you physically couldn't stay in bed forever. Even if you tried with all your willpower, your biology is going to force you up.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, your biology will force you into action. You are bound to study, work, and strive. Your bladder will compel you to move. Your hunger will trigger a survival response.
Yeah, my bodily functions are part of the program.
Exactly. And your social conditioning, too. The fear of losing your job, the desire for connection, all of it will drag you out the door. You're tethered to the program.
So even my ambition is programmed.
Yeah.
That is mildly terrifying.
It really is, yeah.
But the text backs this up with some incredibly vivid, highly specific examples of this inevitable programming playing out in our daily lives.
Like what?
Well, for instance, when you need a restroom, you are forced to find one. When you enter a classroom, you are literally programmed to sit and listen.
Right, you don't just run up to the podium and start screaming.
Exactly. You won't randomly drive your car off a cliff for no reason, or shoot a police officer for no reason.
Right, the programming prevents that.
And my absolute favorite example, which is so jarring it's perfect, you won't place dog feces on the dining table as food.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is visceral.
Right. But it's true. You just wouldn't do it.
What's fascinating here is how the author uses these bizarre, everyday societal boundaries to prove a philosophical point.
Because we think of that as just being civilized.
Exactly. We look at those behaviors, not eating dog feces, sitting quietly in a classroom, and we call them common sense. Or we pride ourselves on our free will to make good choices.
But he's saying it's not a choice.
Right. This framework suggests that what we call common sense or free will is actually just us perfectly, flawlessly executing our pre-written programming.
We think we are making a moral or logical choice, but we are actually just hitting a firewall in our code. Our programming fundamentally does not allow for that action.
Exactly. And it forces you, as the reader, to seriously audit your own life. How much freedom do you genuinely have?
Probably less than we think.
If your biology forces you to eat and your psychological software forces you to act a certain way in public, you are entirely contained within the kingdom of necessity.
Okay, but if that's true, if our hard work, our striving, are all just lines of code running on schedule, are we permanently trapped?
That's the big question.
Right, because how did we even invent the concept of freedom if we've never actually experienced it?
Well, that brings us to how this philosophy structures reality. Freedom does exist in this framework, but it is entirely relative.
Relative freedom, okay.
Yeah, it's not a binary switch of trapped versus free, it's a hierarchy. While we are in a program, there are levels to the simulation.
Right, and we're looking at the two main concepts of the text's title now. The kingdom of necessity, where we are bound by rules and programs, and the kingdom of freedom, which is where we want to go.
Precisely. And Shuifeng illustrates this relative freedom using the natural world. Well, he points out that relative to the insect world, the world of birds is a kingdom of freedom.
Oh, because a bird can fly across continents, but a bug is stuck in a garden.
Exactly. And relative to herbivores, carnivores experience a greater freedom. And relative to the animal world, humans are freer.
So we are relatively free compared to a deer or a bird.
Right. But the cosmology doesn't stop at humans.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The text maps out a vast diagram of 16 concentric circles of varying sizes to represent the entire structure of the universe.
16 circles. Think of them like a set of Russian nesting dolls, each one fitting inside a larger one.
And the names of these circles are fascinating. Starts with the absolute smallest, most restrictive circles, the inflamed space, and then the frozen space.
Which represent pure restriction.
Right. And then you move up the progression mentioned in the text. You go from those to the netherworld, the plant world, the animal world, and then up to our human world.
But the dolls keep going.
They do. Above the human world, the text lists realms like the thousand-year world, all the way up to the celestial islands continent. Escaping one circle just means you've entered a slightly wider, relatively freer circle.
You've upgraded your server.
Exactly.
You have more processing power, more range of motion, but you are still bound by the parameters of that larger circle. And he connects this cosmic map back to your daily life using really practical examples.
Like what we do every day.
Right. Think about why children in rural areas go to school, or why people pursue master's and doctoral degrees, or strive to earn money.
We think we're seeking ultimate liberation.
But we aren't. Not for ultimate cosmic escape, anyway. We do it because knowledge and wealth expand your living space.
They give you more flexibility.
Right. They give you relatively more freedom within the human circle, but you are still fundamentally in the human circle.
So education and money only give us a larger cage. We're just rearranging the furniture inside ourselves.
That's a great way to put it.
So how do we get out of the cage entirely? We need to look at the actual mechanics of the prison we are in. And the text brings up this really vivid animal analogy.
Yes, the pigs and the birds.
Exactly. Consider pigs in a pen. No matter how clever a pig might be, it can't escape its kingdom of necessity on its own. It can't unlatch the gate.
Right, or birds kept in a cage. No matter how beautifully they sing, they are still trapped. They can't pick the lock.
They need a human to open the door. And therefore, the text argues, humans need an external force, divine mercy, gods, or Buddhas, to escape the earthly kingdom of necessity.
Because the grand prison of the human world isn't made of iron bars. The text explicitly states that the most terrifying prison isn't physical.
It's not.
No, it is the prison of thought and spirit. You can walk the earth, but if your mind is running the default code, you are locked in solitary confinement.
Wow. And every prison has a warden. So the text introduces the concept of Satan's program.
Right, Satan.
Now, I want to be really clear for you listening. The author explicitly notes that he uses Satan as a convenient explanation.
It's a metaphor.
Right. We aren't talking about a guy with horns. In this framework, Satan represents the manager of this earthly program.
He's the system administrator.
Yeah. And Satan works hard to maintain the program's effective operation so we can't escape. He wants to keep the nodes in line.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it explains the accomplices of Satan mentioned in the text.
Accomplices.
Yeah.
Like evil henchmen.
Not quite. These are often people who speak of wisdom but actually burden us with countless rules and restrictions.
Oh, like societal expectations.
Exactly. Cultural traditionalists, strict moralists. They bind our freedom and delay our life journey. They keep us so busy navigating the rules of the human cage that we never stop to look at the lock on the door.
That makes total sense. They're the ones telling you what career to have, how to dress, what timelines your life must follow.
Right, they reinforce the mental prison.
So we are in a closed, heavily guarded mental prison system. And obviously, a system's internal rules can't be used to break the system itself.
You can't use the code to break the code.
Right. So what is the exact mechanism for an external jailbreak? How do we actually do this?
Well, the author introduces a specific quote here. Escape from the three realms, not within the five elements.
Escape from the three realms, not within the five elements. Okay, let's break that down.
The five elements represent a self-contained, closed system, the physical architecture of our reality.
The pixels of the simulation.
Exactly. You can't achieve ultimate freedom by manipulating the five elements.
Yeah.
You have to step outside of it entirely.
And the text uses some really enthusiastic real-world analogies for this. Like immigration.
Right, immigrating.
When you emigrate, you pack up and leave. And the moment you do, you are no longer subject to your original country's laws. The old program just doesn't apply to you.
Or consider a civil servant. The text mentions that when a civil servant quits, they aren't bound by civil service regulations anymore.
Because they stepped outside the jurisdiction.
Exactly. By relocating far away, physically or spiritually, you shed old customs.
But resigning from a job is one thing. Resigning from the universe is a bit harder. We established we can't do this with just our own energy and wisdom.
Right. You cannot rely on your own energy. The ultimate solution provided by the author is that you need the help of the program's designer.
The developer.
Yes. The text specifically calls for relying on the greatest creator, the source, and the guidance of figures like Jesus and Shakyamuni.
So what does this all mean for us? Where is this ultimate destination we're trying to emigrate to?
The text's final conclusion is that the goal is to emigrate from the human world to the 1,000-year world.
Up to that next massively larger circle.
Right, effectively escaping earthly manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the author, this path is achieved by following the values of Lifechanyuan, which he states was established for this exact purpose.
Wow. It is a sweeping, deeply intricate roadmap. Let's just take a breath and briefly recap the journey of this deep dive.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
We really did.
Mm-hmm.
We went from realizing our striving is just programmed inevitability. I mean, I'm never going to forget the dog feces and chess pieces examples.
Highly memorable.
Very. And then we moved to understanding the concentric circles of reality. The idea that money and degrees just build a larger cage.
Right, the 16 circles.
And finally, the author's belief that we are birds in a mental prison and we need the external help of the source to break out.
I think bringing it back to you, the listener, the daily application of this text is what matters.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't share the author's exact cosmological beliefs, the deep dive challenges you to examine your own mental prisons.
To audit your life.
Right. Are the rules you are following genuinely helping you grow? Or are they just the restrictions of accomplices keeping you trapped in a smaller circle?
Are you exhausting yourself just to build a slightly nicer cage?
Yeah.
It's such a powerful lens. It shifts your focus from just surviving the game to actually questioning the rules.
It really does.
But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final lingering question that builds upon this source material.
Oh, lay it on me.
So the author maps out this incredible journey, right? Escaping one concentric circle to enter a larger, freer one. From the human world to the 1,000-year world, all the way up to the Celestial Islands continent.
Right, leveling up the circles.
But if the ultimate goal is to escape closed systems entirely, what happens when you finally reach the absolute largest circle?
Oh, man. That is the paradox.
Does a boundary still exist there? Because if there's a boundary, you're still inside,
It's
right?
just a really big inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or does the very concept of inside and outside finally cease to exist once you reach that edge?
That is something to mull over.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the programs around you, keep examining the walls of your own map, and we'll see you next time.